Hello, good morning everybody. I am Minakshi. He is Mr. Parameshwaran. Today we are having a topic regarding Panchabhutas. I would like to ask some few questions to you regarding that. Firstly, let me start with what are the needs and luxuries.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi and Prema. So, as a background to explaining the concepts of needs and desires, we will have to transgress a bit into the cultural background against which we are living. See, our main cultural texts are the Upanishads, which are mainly 10 in number. The famous couplet in Sanskrit which says, Ishagena katha prashno kubamanduga taitiri aidareyam cha Chandogyam Prakadaranyagam Tada. These are the 10 Upanishads. Of these, Kena Upanishad and Prakadaranya Upanishad, they concentrate on environmental issues, ways of living, values of living, all these things. And there, they have made a very clear distinction between wants, needs, desires, necessities, greed, everything. So, what are needs? Needs are the basic requirements of every human being. It may be air, it may be soil, it may be sky, it may be rain, it may be heat, it may be cold, it may be everything. Fruits, vegetables, things, everything. And anything over and above these needs, or anything which you use to, better these basic needs, or to improve on these needs. Maybe you will have an air conditioning in your house. There may be a movie theater in your house. Your house may have a cellar where refrigeration can be done. All these things are improvements on the needs. These are called desires. Needs are absolutely essential, while desires are not absolutely essential. Here there is a very important quote from the Kathopadishad, which explains the difference between needs and desires in a very compact manner. Sarvam idam tatha, tatha idam sarvame, na kurvandi, na kurvandi, na kurvandi. So he says everything is the same, and the same is everything. Everything you find in the world, everything is interconnected. One may be many, many may be one. You find one thing in one form, the same thing can be found in another form in another place. But the basic concept, the basic spirit, the basic idea will be the same. And then the Kathopanishad, that person, he gives a very crucial advice. Na kurute, na kurute, na kurute. Don't exploit these. Don't exploit neither needs, don't exploit neither desires. Don't exploit necessities, don't exploit conveniences. That is the golden mean to live according to the Indian concept. And that is the difference between needs and desires.
That was very well said. But now I would like to ask you, what is the difference between needs and desires?
Now we come to the next stage. That is, see, there are the so-called Panchabhutas, which we have been hearing always throughout our if you go through our cultural history, there is always mention of the Panchabhutas. In Tamil Nadu, there are the Panchabhuta Kshetrams, temples, Chidambaram, then our Trichy, that temple. So many temples connected to the Panchabhutams. So what are these Panchabhutams? Panchabhutams are necessary. They are absolutely essential to the life of persons. So what is essential? As we said earlier, what is the essential elements are called needs. So Panchabhutas are also basically needs, without which human beings cannot survive. So that is one point. The second point is the Panchabhutas. They are basically the earth, sky, air, water, and earth, sky, water, air and fire. These are the 5 basic elements. The point is, all these elements are interconnected. Fire, if it solidifies, it becomes ice. And if ice, when it becomes what's called liquid, it becomes water. When water is again solidified, it becomes ice. When ice is used in air conditioning, it becomes an input for a desire. And so forth, everything is interconnected. So wants may be transformed into desires, desires may be transformed into wants. Wants may be basically Panchabhutas, Panchabhutas may basically be desires. All these are interconnected in a very complicated way, but this interconnection and this complexity makes life very simple. That is the point.
Thank you. Now let me ask you, how are the needs related to the Panchabhutas?
Okay, it's a very relevant question. See, as we said earlier, there are needs and there are desires. Needs are what are absolutely essential for the progress of human life. Desires are something that is over and above the needs, or something which needs can be transformed into. So, the Panchabhutas, as we said earlier, earth, sky, fire, air and water, all these are necessity. They are necessary for the progress, for the daily life of the human beings. So they are basically needs. There is no confusion about it at all. But the confusion arrives because all these Buddhas are basically they are interchangeable, because basically they act and react upon each other. Fire, when it solidifies, becomes ice. Ice, when it is what is called melted, it becomes water. Water, when it is again solidified, it becomes ice or earth again. Ice, when it is used as a input into air conditioner, it becomes a convenience, a desire. So all these things react and respond to each other, combine in various proportions. So you can't actually distinguish between needs and desires at some points. So the Panchabhutas act as a basic input to decide what is desire, what is need, and according to the combinations and permutations which can happen within the Panchabhutas, within the basic elements, needs can arise, desires can arise. And when needs and desires interact with each other, they are also interchangeable. Needs may become desires, desires may become needs. So basically, Panchabhutas are needs. But because of the varying nature of Panchabhutas and because of the quality of the Panchabhutas to act and react to each other, to respond and relocate with each other, they may also become desires. And these desires themselves may be transformed into needs also, because needs also respond and react to desires. That is the relation between Panchabhutas and needs and desires.
See, you have explained it very beautifully, but many people have not read any Upanishads and all. Can you explain this in a more simple way?
Yes. The same question was in my mind also. People may not be able to follow all these philosophy. So let us take a concrete example. See, we have been asked to separate, dry waste from wet waste. We have been asked for a long time. We have been advised to do that, and now what happens is none of us, even in my house, it is not being separated. So what happens? The dry waste and wet waste goes into the dump yard together, and the wet waste slowly starts polluting the soil. That is the basic Panchabhuta of soil, and through that it affects the productivity of the soil. And when the productivity of the soil is affected, the economy of the nation is affected. When the nation's economy is affected, the economy and the financial well-being of the that country and its neighboring countries will be affected. That will affect the continent. The continent's lack of financial stability will affect the whole world itself. So your laziness in doing a simple act like separating dry waste from wet waste will ultimately lead to even a financial collapse of a universal nature. That is one example. There is another example. We have been asked to take a cloth bag whenever we go shopping. Such a simple thing, 99% of us forget to do that. And we have many excuses. Anyway, even I also do that sometimes. But then, see, each time you use a plastic bag, each time you use a plastic carry bag, you are polluting the environment. You just throw it away. It falls into the dump yard. it again pollutes the soil. The same process happens, and ultimately it even affects the financial well-being of countries, nations, world, the entire universe. So these are simple things. Carrying a, whenever you for washing hands and shaving and things like that, what we do is we usually just simply turn on the tap, and then only we go and in search of a vessel or something else, some soap or something else. But then what our ancestors used to do was, when the small child gets up and we ask it to brush its teeth, what we do is we just give her a pot of water, and she keeps that pot of water, she plays with that water, and ultimately what happens is only that water in the pot gets wasted, not the whole water supply. Here, by opening the tap full at full speed, we are wasting water unnecessarily. So these simple things, we may feel it is simple. It's like the old story of the milkman. At milkman, he thought of adding a slight glass of water. What is going to happen? What is going to happen if I add half a cup of water? No one is going to know whether the milk is polluted or not. And ultimately, there was no milk in the pot, only water. In the same way, if we are not careful about these small things, it will affect the whole universe. So it's better to be wiser in details.
Thank you. That was a very simple explanation. Any layman can understand. Now, how do humans protect the Panchabhutas?
For that, we have to start in the details. As we said, we have to be careful of every small universal Panchabhuta resource that we make, be it fire, be it sky, be it air, be it water, be it soil. We have to be careful. All these small things, like carrying a cloth bag for when going for shopping, separating dry waste from wet waste, switching off electric lights and fans whenever it is not necessary, carrying a bottle with you, then using as much as local produce as possible, then closing the door on air conditioned houses and all. Whenever you go out, to try to close the door without leaving it open. Switch off lights and fans when they are not necessary. Then when you are driving, when the red light is on for more than say 60-70 seconds, you try to switch off your car. All these are any number of small things which we can do to minimize even if not to protect the environment, to minimize the risks that it has. See, my grandmother was a person who passed away in 2004 at the age of 86. But she was one of the most environmentally aware person that I knew. She was a lover of food, but her day every day started with a small glass, copper glass, in which she used to take some water and pour it on the basil plant in front of her. So that was how her day used to start. And she was using only local produce. She was a pure vegetarian. The Sahasrama, everything, all our Hindu way of life, only she was continuing. But her environmental awareness, her consciousness of environment, her determination to protect the environment was so strong that was the part of her natural way of life. And that was something which I admire so much. And I would like to follow her footsteps, but alas, we are also living in our present way of life. We can only talk like this, but we can try. We should try. That is what the Upanishad says. Don't misuse.
I think once you mentioned, even in school they should start.
It's better to start environmental education at the primary school level itself. Even my granddaughter herself, she has some environmental knowledge. She asked me to do some subject. They should be made aware of the importance of these Panchabhutas and the distinction between needs and desires.
One more thing I would like to point out. Nowadays there are so many natural calamities, landslides, floods, tsunami, everything, or earthquake, anything you can say. Is it due to the disturbance of the Panchabhutas?
That's a very relevant question. That's a question that I forgot to address. Basically, it is the lack of balance lack of symmetry between the Panchabhutas, between the use of Panchabhutas, that is the cause of all these natural resources. As you said earlier, even the small simple act of not separating dry waste, it leads to an economic disaster of the world. This same way, same thing happens as far as our natural resources are concerned. You see, our way of life may even disturb the course of rivers. The course of rivers may, if it is altered, it may cause drought in one place. It may cause flood in other place. So all these are happening basically because we are not exploiting. We are exploiting the Panchabhutas in the wrong way. We are disturbing the equilibrium of the Panchabhutas by all our small many small things. If you do that, the balance will be corrected. What we do is we do not care about the environment at all, and let this program be an inducement. Let this program be an inducement for many others to follow the path of environment protection. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have given a very nice insight into the topic. I think everybody will understand the simple way you have explained it and will become aware, at least to some extent. And in our community, like senior citizens, it will be helpful and useful to share the knowledge with others so that they can also contribute to the environment. Thank you very much.